Elixir of Life, Wikipedia Audio. The Elixir of Life, also known as Elixir of Immortality and sometimes equated with the Philosopher's Stone, is a potion that supposedly grants the drinker eternal life and/or eternal youth. This elixir was also said to cure all diseases. Alchemists in various ages and cultures sought the means of formulating the elixir. In ancient China, various emperors sought the fabled elixir with varying results. In the Qin dynasty, Qin Shi Huang sent Taoist alchemist Su Fu with 500 young men and 500 young women to the eastern seas to find the elixir, but he never came back. When Shi Huang visited, he brought 3,000 young girls and boys, but none of them ever returned. The ancient Chinese believed that ingesting long-lasting precious substances such as jade, cinnabar, or hematite would confer some of that longevity on the person who consumed them. Gold was considered particularly potent, as it was a non-tarnishing precious metal. The idea of potable or drinkable gold is found in China by the end of the 3rd century BC. The most famous Chinese alchemical book, the Danjing Yaezhu, attributed to Sun Simiao, a famous medical specialist respectfully called King of Medicine by later generations, discusses in detail the creation of elixirs for immortality as well as those for curing certain diseases and the fabrication of precious stones. History. Many of these substances, far from contributing to longevity, were actively toxic and resulted in Chinese alchemical elixir poisoning. The Jiajing Emperor in the Ming dynasty died from ingesting a lethal dosage of mercury in the supposed elixir of life conjured by alchemists. British historian Joseph Needham compiled a list of Chinese emperors whose deaths were likely due to elixir poisoning. Amrita, the elixir of life, has been described in the Hindu scriptures. Anybody who consumes even a tiniest portion of Amrit has been described to gain immortality. The legend has it, at early times when the inception of the world had just taken place, evil demons had gained strength. This was seen as a threat to the gods who feared them. So these gods went to seek advice and help from the 3 primary gods according to the Hindus, Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva. They suggested that Amrit could only be gained from the Samudra Manthan, for the ocean in its depths hid mysterious and secret objects. Vishnu agreed to take the form of a turtle on whose shell a huge mountain was placed. This mountain was used as a churning pole. With the help of a Vasuki, the churning process began at the surface. From one side the gods pulled the serpent, which had coiled itself around the mountain, and the demons pulled it from the other side. As the churning process required immense strength, hence the demons were persuaded to do the job. They agreed in return for a portion of Amrit. Finally, with their combined efforts, Amrit emerged from the ocean depths. All the gods were offered the drink, but the gods managed to trick the demons, who did not get the holy drink. The oldest Indian writings, the Vedas, contain the same hints of alchemy that are found in evidence from ancient China, namely vague references to a connection between gold and long life. Mercury, which was so vital to alchemy everywhere, is first mentioned in the 4th to 3rd century BC Arthashastra. About the same time it is encountered in China and in the West. Evidence of the idea of transmuting base metals to gold appears in 2nd to 5th century AD Buddhist texts, about the same time as in the West. It is also possible that the alchemy of medicine and immortality came to China from India, or vice versa. In any case, for both cultures, gold making appears to have been a minor concern, and medicine the major concern. But the elixir of immortality was of little importance in India. The Indian elixirs were mineral remedies for specific diseases or, at the most, to promote long life. According to Theosophy and related mystical traditions, St. Germain was reputed to have the elixir and to be several hundred years old. Many European recipes specify that elixir is to be stored in clocks to amplify the effects of immortality on the user. Frenchman Nicolas Flamel was also a reputed creator of the elixir. The elixir has had hundreds of names, among them Amrit Ras or Amrita, Ab-i-Hayat, Maha Ras, Ab-Hiwan, Dancing Water, Kazma-i Kazar, Mansarovar, or the Pool of Nectar, Philosopher's Stone, and Soma Ras. The word elixir was not used until the 7th century AD and derives from the Arabic name for miracle substances, al-iksir. Some view it as a metaphor for the Spirit of God. But whoever drinks the water I give him will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life. The Scots and the Irish adopted the name for their liquid gold. The Gaelic name for whiskey is Uazibitha, or water of life. Ab-i-Hayat is Persian and means water of life. Chashma-i Kawthar is the fountain of bounty, which Muslims believe to be located in paradise. As for the Indian names, Amrit Ras means immortality juice, Maha Ras means great juice, and Soma Ras means juice of Soma. Soma was a psychoactive drug, by which the poets of the Vedas received their visions, but the plant is no longer known. Later, Soma came to mean the moon. Ras later came to mean sacred mood experienced listening to poetry or music. There are altogether 9 of them. Mansarovar, the Mind Lake, is the holy lake at the foot of Mt. Kailash in Tibet, close to the source of the Ganges. The elixir of life has been an inspiration, plot feature, or subject of artistic works including animation, comics, films, musical compositions, novels, and video games. Examples include L. Frank Baum's fantasy novel John Doe and the Cherub, the science fiction series Doctor Who, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, the popular manga Full Metal Alchemist, and the movie Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva of the popular Professor Layton franchise. China, India, Europe. Names in popular culture. Footnotes.